I'll be with you in a minute. Let's see. Let's see. Thanks for tuning in. It's always better when you're here, Wolko. And that goes for the rest of you too. It would be quite meaningless without you. Okay, I'm ready. Alright, so you guys want to see a clip first, or should we? I have clips. Okay, I have a Epstein Island clip. They said that he almost never left. They call it Pedophile Island. I guess around that his neighbors all called that Epstein's Island Pedophile Island. I have a cop shootout with a guy with an assault rifle. It looks pretty vicious. I have I have an interview with Tulsi Gabbard about her suing Hillary. I have fucking tiger clip. I have school hair policy, school vaping interventions, Bernie Sanders wealth tax. I think Bernie Sanders is making some people awfully nervous. And I have a clip with a Sasquatch clip. So if you guys want to see any of those, poor Sasquatch. I know, right? What is this? Get off. Get off. I hate it when bugs land on my dab stick. Let's see. Oh, and I have dabs. I have dabs too. So if you guys want to do dab, if you want to see a clip, if you'd like to call, the phone lines are open. Okay. This is my Nomo Auto. Nomo Auto. And this is the Gorilla Glue. So we have dabs. I'm gonna get set up one of those. I'm about ready for a dab. I got dabs, and we have everything, a show, everything you could possibly want in a show. Okay, what more do you people want from me? Out here working my ass off, act like it's nothing. Putting my life on the line. Is that a good enough one? That's pretty close right there, man. That's pretty close, dude. Standing up to fight for your freedom, man. Your freedom, dude. Not my freedom. I already have freedom. I've had freedom my whole life. Which I have a clip about the school hair policy. I don't know if you guys saw this news story earlier where they're not going to let this kid walk on stage unless he cuts his hair. He's got a bunch of dreads, and they won't let him go on stage with his dreads. And this is what I've talked about again and again, is about how from the time I was 5 years old, These powers that be, the way this fucking society functions. From the time I'm 5, they're trying to mold me into a square peg to fit me into a square hole. And they're still trying to do it. I'm telling you, I had the same problem with the cut your hair thing. When I was 16, my mom decided to move, and I had to go to a new high school, and I had to go and meet the principal before you're allowed to fucking enter the high school. So we go to meet the principal, and the first words out of the principal's mouth were, "Get a haircut and come back and see me." And I was like, "Have a nice life, shithead. You know, you're not the fucking boss of me. Okay, I'm not here, I'm not applying for a freaking job. You're a fucking public servant douchebag, a bureaucrat, and you're going to tell me how I'm supposed to look? Suck a big fat bag of dicks, okay? Because you're nobody, and you probably always will be." And that's the way I felt about it. And this is what, I mean, and then I come out here on YouTube and like, "Get a haircut." Oh yeah, like I never heard that one. Shave your beard. Yeah, fit in. Fit in. Come on, you got to fit in, man. You got to fit in. Otherwise people won't accept you. Fuck that. Don't accept me. I don't give a shit. You know, I'm not here to somehow fucking, make friends. You know, I'm here to bring awareness, to spread awareness. And I've done a very, very, very good job of that. Oh, thumbs down. Yesterday, there was a thumbs down in the first 2 minutes of the show. I'm like typing. I look up and it's thumbs down. I'm like, who the fuck thumbs down me already? Is there music? There's not music, is there? I'm not doing music. Are we playing music? No, there's no music. What about Moxie music? I would like someone to come up with some Moxie music. Actually, somebody sent me some Moxie music, but Craig's in charge of it, so I'm not sure what's going on with the Moxie music. But we're still looking for Moxie music. If you got some Moxie music for me, let me know. Moxie music. It's always Moxie music. All right, so should we play that haircut clip? You want to play it? You want to see that? Because I think this is really important. I don't understand why you want to take this unique being and say, no, you must be like everyone else. This person who in a world where everyone is telling you to fit in and don't stand out and conform, right? Someone wants to be themselves, and because of that, they're penalized. We don't want to not allow them to graduate, but we have to punish them somehow. You have to punish children for wanting to not be a fucking clog in your machine. I mean, this is just horrible. I'm going to play that story for you, okay? Because I find that, I had to go through this shit too, and I just find it despicable. When that fucking principal was like, "Cut your hair," he was like, "What do you want to be a girl, Mike? Is that what it is?" No, I don't want to be told by some douchebag bureaucrat how I'm supposed to live my life. Okay, it's that simple. Okay, that's not who I am. I'm not your fucking square peg. Okay, so anyways, I got that clip. It's right here. It's clip number 5. So I'll play that for you.
A Texas family is threatening legal action against their school district after their teenage son was told he could not walk at graduation because of his hair. The Barbers Hill School District told DeAndre Arnold that his long dreadlocks violate its dress code. DeAndre is being forced to either cut his hair or face an in-school suspension. The Arnold family says this is about race. Omar Villafranca is in Mont Bellevue, Texas, where this all started. Omar, good morning. Does DeAndre's hair violate a school policy? Is that really a policy that says you can't have dreadlocks?
Under this policy, yes. Now, DeAndre wears his hair up. It's not in his eyes and it's not below his collar. But the policy was reworded in December, and the superintendent told us it doesn't matter if boys wear their hair up or if they wear their hair down. What matters is the length. It cannot be a certain length. And now the family is pleading with the district for an exception.
This isn't how I wanted to remember my senior year at all.
DeAndre Arnold's final semester at Barbers Hill High School was supposed to be filled with memories that would stay with him forever.
It's always up and kind of off of, all the regulations.
But an issue over a hairstyle he's been wearing since the 7th grade is putting a damper on his senior year. His mom thinks it's a black and white issue.
There's no people of color on the school board, so I get it that they don't understand about his hair.
Is his hairstyle a distraction, or does it stop him from learning in any way?
Not a bit. He has good grades. I don't get calls about that. I don't get calls because he's disrespectful. Anything other than his hair.
At least once a week for sure. I'm getting called to the office about my hair.
What's impeding your learning more? You getting called to the office or your hair?
Me getting called to the office every week. I can count on it.
Every school district in the nation has a dress code. I don't think you can go to school in your underwear.
Superintendent Gary Poole says the dress code, which has been in place for 30 years, only limits hair length, not style.
We'd love to see DeAndre back in class, and there's no way we would inhibit him from graduating. But we are going to be fair to the 6,200 other kids that have to comply by the same policy.
They said he'll be able to graduate, but he just couldn't walk.
Right.
I'm a parent. You're a parent.
I ain't having it.
You want the walking.
You want the walking. You've put in the work. You saw your peers. You're going to take that away from him? I mean, it's unfair.
Is it a look? Is it a cultural thing? Is it a heritage thing?
The culture really plays a role in this because, being around my dad and stuff and around his people, I really seen something that I wanted to, take part in. And, the dreadlocks or the locks, that was just something I really liked.
Just last year, California became the first state to ban discrimination against black students and employees over their natural hairstyles. New York and New Jersey have since signed similar bills into law. Jerry Monroe is a community activist working with the family. When you heard they wanted him to cut his hair, and they're saying it's a dress code thing, do you believe that?
No. We're located in one of the most racist counties in the state of Texas.
You think it's all
I don't think
racist?
I know. I know.
And let me play devil's advocate here. Are you willing to cut your hair?
No. What I'm willing to do is just get out of the situation.
How?
By going to a different school or something like that if I had to, because I'm not going to sit here and deal with this. Like, I'm a senior, I'm about to graduate, I'm about to go to college. I don't need any added stress on me.
DeAndre has been getting a lot of support from his friends and from another DeAndre, Houston Texans star wide receiver DeAndre Hopkins, who tweeted, "Never cut your locks." Now, DeAndre tells me he gets good grades. He's never really in trouble at school at all. And he's looking forward to go to college. But today, they say they are going to be looking for another high school to graduate from. Anthony?
That's heartbreaking to me, Omar. He says he gets good grades. He's a good student. Yeah. He's a good person. Isn't that what should matter? People need to be reminded, especially in the black culture, your hair. Dreadlocks are they are not an unusual hairdo. It just drives me crazy when I see stories like this.
Aside from that,
it's insulting, Anthony.
Yeah, and aside from that, I understand what's disruptive about it. I mean, the administrator said,
nothing disruptive.
Well, you can't go to school in your underwear. That's not he's not wearing underwear. He's just wearing his hair
Last time
long.
I checked, he was wearing clothes.
And why dig in on this issue of all issues? Just let it go.
And now he has to change schools. It makes no sense.
All right, ahead.
All right, so here's what I want to say about that. What? What are you talking about? Are you talking to me? Yes, I know. Okay, so as I was saying, one of the things that really bothers me about this story is that this happens to little white boys every single fucking day. Okay, as I said, this happened to me when I was 16 years old, and the fucking principal ridiculed me, saying, "What, do you want to be a girl? right? No, I don't want to be a girl. Well, I kind of feel like a lesbian trapped in a man's body, but I don't want to be a girl. I like my man's body. I just want to be able to party with the girls. That's all. But that's, I digress. But this is the point, is this happens every single day to little white boys, and the media is never ever going to do a story about it to any little white boy. Never, ever, 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 which really is fucking disgusting, and again shows their bullshit fucking agenda. Okay, that being said, this kid looks like a super nice kid, man. And his hair looks like it's very well groomed. I don't know what the fuck their problem is. I don't know why. I mean, I'm a sloppy guy. I'm, like I said, I'm a caveman, through and through. And, so I don't know what their problem is with this kid. He looks like a great guy. And, and again, it's not the kid's problem. It's this fucking dickhole who says, I'm the boss of you, and you have to fucking comply, or I will punish you. I'm going to punish this child. I'm going to teach this child a lesson that they'll never forget because he wouldn't cut his hair. That's a scumbag piece of garbage who needs not to be in a position to fuck with children, right? Because anybody who thinks that they should fuck with children because they can should not be in a position to fuck with children, right? And that's all I have to say about that. I mean, again, this happens to little white boys. It happened to me. The media will never cover the white boy angle from it, which is sad. Because I felt like this guy was trying so hard to intimidate me when he's talking to me. What, do you want to be a girl, Mike? Fuck you. Okay? Fuck you. Why would you treat, again, here's this unique being of light, right? And it's here, and it's saying I want to be this unique thing and go whichever direction I want to go, and this asshole bureaucrat, cop haircut wearing piece of garbage bureaucrat, and he's like, nope, you do what I say because I can make you do it, because I can make you, and you can't make people do what they don't want to do. You can try. Some people you can make do whatever, but they couldn't make me do it because they're not the boss of me, because I'm a free person, and I always have been since I was 5 years old. So that's where I'm coming from. Then that's why this story is important to me. I don't like this, I don't know why you wouldn't want to encourage individualism, right? Why do you want to break these people down? Because it seems like that's what these people's job is. Well, Code, this is horrible, right? People treating people like this is horrible. I mean, teachers and school administrators teaching. Treating people like this, they should be, it's horrible. I don't, and I would think that the community would be more outraged. I would think the community would rally behind this people and say, why do we have a piece of garbage like this who wants to punish our children, knock them down a peg because they want to be unique beings? I would definitely, if I was in that community, I would be making a huge uproar to, make sure that guy didn't have a job with children ever again. If I was, but then, who knows? Maybe it's like, I don't know where that community was. Maybe it's like Kansas or Missouri or Oklahoma or something. And like, there's these communities, man, like where I was talking about, where I went to, when my mom took me to this school, right, when I was 16, she took me from the coast, the Morro Bay High School, this beautiful place. We would, in PE class, we'd run down to the ocean and run along the beach. It's like shit you see in the movies, right? She takes me from there to this I'm hanging out with surfers and cool people, and she takes me to this fucking shithole, valley community, where it's not a shithole, it's a real nice community. But it looks like everybody just stepped out of goddamn J.C. Penney's catalog. Okay, I'm never gonna fit in there, and I don't want to. Fuck that, So I lasted about a week there and went back to Morro Bay and hung out with all the surfer guys and my buddies for about 10 more years. 16, so about 4 more years. Moved to Tahoe when I was 20. Anyways, that's my story. There's no callers. Why is there no callers? What is the problem? You guys can see the phone number, right? I mean, I'll go and I can do this thing where I try and share the feed on my Twitter and maybe get some callers. Okay, so I'll try again. All right, so, and I have a story about, oh, hey, look at that. Hey, Chris, thanks for calling. I was worried the phone wasn't working.
Oh, the phone works fine. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I'm having a pretty good day.
Right on.
I went to that specialist today and found out that I don't have skin cancer.
Wow, excellent. That is good news.
I know.
Got that going for you.
Really good news. It was a very good morning, and I even had a better afternoon because I went to an herb store and found an ounce of good herb for $40.
Wow.
I know. It's like one of the lowest prices I paid for, fairly decent hybrid sativa, and I was happy. It was like, wow, even cheaper than I had imagined.
But what would your doctor think about you having all that weed, Chris?
I don't think that the specialist really cared. My general practitioner, I don't know. I don't really care.
Yeah, that's the right answer. That's the right answer. I don't give a fuck.
Yeah. Well, like I said, because of my concern about wanting to see a skin specialist, I got roped into this whole thing where now they've extracted blood, and now I have, I have to do some kind of fecal test that I have to send them for like a pre-colonoscopy, all of those things that I otherwise wouldn't have done. And I don't really, that's okay, just as long as they don't mandate that I do something and treat me really bad, because I won't tolerate that. I guess I'll leave. I don't appreciate it. So anyway, medical things. There were a couple of cop things I wanted to talk with you about, bad cop stories.
Oh yeah.
And there were 2 local things that I found, and then also a story from Mark Crispin Miller, who's a professor at New York University. He's the head of the chair of the Media Studies Department, and it's pretty prestigious. Whatever. He has a blog, and he writes things news stories that he feels are underreported. It's just like commentary. But in Seattle, and I don't know if you reported this or if you had a news clip about it, on December 31st, a paraplegic was killed in Federal Way. Did you hear about that?
I didn't see anything about that. Nuh-uh.
Yeah, when I did a Google search, I only found 2 or 3, maybe 4 articles about it. The shooting happened on December 31st, but they didn't release the name of the person until January 13th. And apparently he had been in a wheelchair since he was 14. had an accident, and he had also had a couple of weird incidents where he was almost shot at a train station in a shooting, in a public shooting, and he carried a gun, and then he got caught because he shot himself with his own gun, accidentally, and then he got in an argument with a woman on the street, like a person in his community got in an argument with her, and somebody called the cops. The cops showed up, and they fired. He was in a car. His wheelchair was in the back seat. He wasn't even in his wheelchair. And they approached the car, and they claim that he returned gunfire, right? And then 7 deputies fired 45 shots into this car with a disabled man in the front seat of the car who can't even get out of the front seat of the car. You know, and I mean, I understand the moment that they think that they're under fire, I guess that gives them license to do whatever they want, but the details are really sketchy about what actually happened.
Yeah.
So this was from the Seattle Weekly. It says, friends of paraplegic of man killed in shootout with Federal Way police outraged over his death. His name was Malik Williams. He was from Bothell. And this is a quote from his sister. She says, "I'm disgusted that the Federal Way Police Department murdered my brother," Monique Phelps wrote on Facebook the day her brother was killed. "What happened to be a 9/11 call for disturbance led to some poorly trained officer shooting my brother 45 times. Instead of using de-escalating tactics, I'm sick, I'm enraged, and for those 7 officers that was involved, I hope you rot in hell. You killed my brother." Federal Way police officials could not be reached for immediate comment. Officers responded to a disturbance at 12:15 on December 31st. Right? That's New Year's Eve, right? Oh, the day before New Year's Eve.
That's New Year's Eve. That's New Year's Eve. December 31st is New Year's Eve.
Yeah, and it was whatever, in the neighborhood. They showed up. They said he was uncooperative. They called for backup. Quote, "During the encounter, our officer was shot and officers returned fire." So 3 officers were shot, but after reading the description of this, I don't know if they may have even shot themselves.
Yeah.
Because they also shot a window out of an apartment across the street, and they shot this guy 40. So there were bullets all over the place. So it's, one officer had a chest wound, another in the arm, another in the leg. 7 officers placed on administrative leave. Anyway, this happened in the Seattle area, and it's just an example of we passed this initiative to mandate de-escalation training of the police in Washington State, and it still seems like they don't use those practices. And if he wasn't if he wasn't a sniper, right, and he wasn't actually shooting people, but he was just pissed off because of whatever reason, they could have found a way to approach him in a non-confrontational manner to find out what the hell is going on with him, instead of just executing him right on the street in the neighborhood, so everybody can watch this man be executed.
I just, 45 bullets for one guy sitting in a car, I mean, if he's not driving anywhere, I mean, and in a residential neighborhood, this bothers me so much that they think it's okay to unleash that many fucking bullets, hot lead flying every fucking direction, in a residential neighborhood. It's like, do they do that shit in their own neighborhoods? I bet not.
Yeah, I doubt it. I doubt that they would do that in their neighborhoods. Although, this is the other story, and this happened in my own community outside of Olympia, Washington, and it was the Thurston County Sheriff's Department, and this was from Cairo 7, and this just happened 2 days ago. And this also was from somebody calling the police. Man shot and killed by Thurston County deputy. And it says, a man who police said was in violation of a protection order was shot and killed Tuesday morning. Deputy said the man was violating the order by being outside of the house in a subdivision at 5:30 in the morning. The caller advised that there was a male subject who was known to them outside their residence in violation of protection orders, said the lieutenant sheriff. Investigators said the man shot. Now this is just a classic example of why you don't fucking call the police, right? Investigators said the man shot was the homeowner's brother who was violating a court order by being at his sister's home. I was actually stunned. I didn't know what to think. That had never happened before, said Bob Froelich. I'm shocked to think that it's, and this is a neighbor, I'm shocked to think that it's so close and there was a shooting across the street, said Carolyn Froelich. The homeowner walks around the block and they bring food over here because she does baking and she does too much, so they bring part of it over to us. And that's all we know about him. The deputy's 6-year veteran used a stun gun on the man during the confrontation, claims it didn't stop him. At the conclusion of the stun gun shooting him, the male subject apparently obtained a knife, and the deputy fired shots at the subject, striking him. The man died, no deputies were hurt. Okay, so that's that story. 2 stories in 2 weeks from Western Washington where, you know, the details are kind of sketchy, all based on the evidence of the cop. Both shootings are under investigation, so we don't even actually know all the details about them. But also, both of these police departments, the sheriff's department in Thurston County and the police department in Federal Way, were supposed to be trained in this de-escalation training that was mandated by the residents of Washington State, right? And apparently it isn't working. So, like, what the fuck? Like, even, you know, the police departments they don't abide, just like the legislature and the governor refuses to abide by the wishes of the people. Even when the people go through direct democracy and pass an initiative or a referendum, you know, trying to curtail police brutality, the police still do whatever the fuck they want to do.
And not just the police, the lawmakers, right? The people pass a thing that says the $30 car tabs, and the fucking lawmakers refuse to fucking allow it to happen. The people say, get your fucking stinking laws off our marijuana, and the lawmakers say, oh well, you can have legal weed, but you can't grow it yourself. You know, it's
don't ever drive a car. Don't ever drive a car.
Don't ever drive a car.
Ever drive a car. You know, which, yeah. So there's these unrealistic standards that were applied that kind of were based in fear. But
I agree.
There's this other story, like I said, that was related to these 2 incidents in Washington State from this man, this professor, Mark Crispin Miller. And the title is, it's from January 20th. It says, and that's it's from News from the Underground. That's the website. It says, U.S. cops kill citizens at over 70 times the rate of other first world nations. And he cites an article from the Free Thought Project from 2015. So these numbers are 5 years old, but they're relative. And this is what Professor Miller says. He goes, from 5 years ago, what's the rate today? You know, if our free press and or liberal Democrats cared about this routine carnage, they would be pushing some reforms that might stop it, if not end it. They would demand a thorough purge of all U.S. police departments to rid them of the white supremacists who have been signing up for years, as the FBI reported in 2006. They would demand that all U.S. police departments train their officers in martial arts so they do not use guns and tasers as their first means to defend themselves. They would demand a crackdown on the widespread abuse of anabolic steroids, which turn cops into rock-hard killing machines. The war on drugs would also benefit cops' wives and children, since steroid abuse also contributes heavily to domestic violence. They would demand that the recruitment of police officers take place largely in the neighborhoods that are policed, as opposed to having them commute to work in areas whose people they don't know or like. They would raise the standards for recruitment instead of lowering them, and pay the police accordingly, treating them as elite public servants, not as grunts in place to keep rich people protected and their property intact. Why there is no discussion of American policing and how to best improve it, as opposed to ritually playing up the most egregious killings in our streets and leaving it at that, you know, i.e. the media blowing up crime and emphasizing crime. Why is there so much more press emphasis on gun control of guns used not by the police, but only used by citizens, than on the policies that make our cops so dangerous to all of America's have-nots? Why has no presidential candidate said anything about this grievous problem ever? How many mayoral candidates from coast to coast have ever said a word about it? Any. The subject is not raised by our free press or liberal Democrats because they don't care enough about it. That's us. That's about us. Even to discuss the issue, much less taking the necessary steps to make us safer from those police officers who ought to be protecting us instead of blowing some of us away to keep the rest of us in line. And that was from Mark Crispin Miller. And I just wanted to share that because I thought you might appreciate that.
Yeah. Hey, JB. Tulsi was on Tucker tonight. I have that interview ready to go for you. I'll play it for you in just a moment. Hey, Chris, who wrote that?
The guy's name is MarkCrispinMiller. MarkCrispinMiller.com.
Mm-hmm.
He also is opposed to vaccinations, and he also believes in 9/11 truth. And he teaches media criticism and studies at New York University. He's in charge of the chair of media studies.
Right on. He sounds like a very interesting guy.
He is an interesting guy. So anyway, I wanted to share that with you, and those two other cop stories.
Yeah.
And that's more or less it. I mean, did you have any impressions? I mean, what do you think about reforming the police? Like, how should we go about that?
Well, I've talked about this many times. I think fixing the police violence issue is fairly easy, and like you just said, or just read, the first thing that should be done is that there should be a nationwide, every single cop tested for steroids. Okay, steroids makes people violent. And it turns their brains into Swiss cheese. Their brains just don't work right anymore. So that should be the very first thing that happens. And number two, the very second thing that happens is no cop should ever be allowed to work more than 36 hours a week, something like that, less than 40 hours a week. Ever. No moonlighting, nothing. They should get paid plenty of money for putting their lives on the line, and part of that fucking 36, 38 hours a week should be martial arts training. There should be 2 hours twice a week and full contact martial arts training. And if you can't handle doing full contact martial arts training with your brothers in blue, you have no business being on the street. None whatsoever. Okay, because if you can't handle yourself in a hand-on-hand situation with your buddies, then there's no reason for you to be out on the street with a bunch of criminals. What's that?
Right, or how are you going to protect anybody in the community if you can't even defend yourself, let alone somebody who's a victim of a criminal who needs your help?
So,
without just shooting somebody dead.
I think the only thing that you really left out in that article that you read was about them working this overtime. Cops work as much overtime as they can possibly get. Every single one of them. It's not like, oh yeah, no, I'm going to take the weekend off. Fuck that. They make every penny they can, and this is part of the problem, is that they're all way, way, way overworked. Okay? No cop ever more than 36, 38 hours a week. That's it. You know, and this will solve a lot of the violence problem immediately. These three things: this martial arts training, the steroids testing, and the no cops working more than 40 hours a week.
I think those are great ideas. So that link that he linked to, that I said that the United States police killed 70 times more of their citizens than other countries do around the world for first world nations, like nations that are industrialized nations. And in that article, you know, they point out that, like, in countries like Germany, in 2013, 2014, the German police did not kill a single person. In China, in 2014, China's population is 4.5 times that of the United States. It's enormous, right? Population. But in all of China in 2014, there were only 12 recorded killings of civilians by law enforcement officers.
Yeah, I don't know how trustworthy that information is, though. You know, I mean.
Well, that's a lot. Yeah. That's a lot.
Yeah, that's a huge difference for sure.
700 or something like that. Yeah. And they have 4 times our population. I mean, maybe you can say the number's larger, but nevertheless, it's still pretty large. Like in England, for 4 years, there were only 4 police shootings from 2010 to 2014 in the whole country of 60 million people.
Yeah, there's one other thing that I would add to my list of the steroid testing, the martial arts, and the overtime thing. The one other thing, cops should never be allowed to train on video games. I don't even think they should be allowed to play shooter games at home. Because these video games, they change the way you respond. Okay, if you get in this game frame of mind, you respond very differently than if you're actually dealing with a real situation. And all the cops right now are training on video games, and I think that's a bunch of bullshit.
They should be training with psychologists about how to interact with people in a positive way to de-escalate. So if they
should probably all have to have a minimum of education level too, like maybe a 4-year college degree or something.
Right. Besides the police academy.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. All right, Chris. Well, thanks a lot for calling. It's good to hear from you, and I'm glad to hear about the good news. Okay. Hello. Are you there?
40 days.
Okay, you got cut off there. I don't know what happened. You cut out. I couldn't hear you.
Oh, I just said I had a great day. I had probably one of the best days I've had in like 40 days, and I just hope the rest of your program goes well. And that's all I really have to share tonight.
All right, Chris. Well, thanks a lot for calling. It's always you always add a lot to the show. I really appreciate it.
Yeah, I hope other people too talk about police brutality and offer some solutions. Like, I actually know this neighborhood. You know, it's a suburban neighborhood. It's a place probably where you would never expect crime, but it was a random incident. Like, you know, you call for, you know, your brother has a restraining order, and you call the police to help you, and they murder him in your yard.
Yeah, I think twice about calling the police on family for sure, man.
In any situation, unless you're not concerned about that person living anymore.
Yeah.
And if that's the case, you're probably a pretty cold fish, I would say.
Yeah.
But anyway, have a good night.
Okay, Chris, good to hear from you. And that's our buddy Chris from Olympia. Also, I wanted to mention that I have a video that I didn't get to, which is that Jim Lehrer died tonight, and Jim Lehrer was pretty much a real newsman as far as TV newsmen go. He may have been the last of the real newsmen as far as TV news people go. So he will be missed by many. Okay, so I have Tulsi clip. Did you want to see that Tulsi clip now, the Tulsi interview, or I have a cop shootout with some guy with like an AK-47 or something going like Tulsi interview? Is that what you want to say? Tulsi interview it is. Okay, here we go. Tulsi Gabbard interview. Wait, what was that? Oh, Tulsi Gabbard interview is clip number 3. We'll do that one right now.
Thank you so much for that.
Anytime, Tucker. Thank you.
Bernie Sanders is not the only candidate the Democratic establishment hates and is trying to destroy. From day one, party leaders have opposed Congresswoman Tulsi Gabbard of Hawaii because Gabbard agrees with the 2006 party platform and thinks foreign wars, when they're pointless, are a mistake. Hillary Clinton suggested that she was working for Russia.
I think they've got their eye on somebody who's currently in the Democratic primary and are grooming her to be the third-party candidate. She's a favorite of the Russians.
Groomed by the Russians, Hillary says of Tulsi Gabbard. Well, this week, Gabbard filed a $50 million defamation suit against Hillary Clinton. We're happy to have Tulsi Gabbard join us tonight. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on. You've sued Hillary Clinton.
Thanks,
no one saw that coming. Why are you doing it?
This is about my life. You know, for so many people in the media, they're saying, oh, well, you know, this is just another news story. But this is my life that we're talking about here. You know, for me as a soldier, as every service member does, I took an oath of loyalty to our country, the country that I love, willing to put my life on the line for our country, deploying twice to the Middle East to do so, still serving in uniform in the Army National Guard today, now for almost 17 years. The essence of this service, this love of country, is who I am. So when you have someone as powerful as Hillary Clinton seeking to smear my reputation, essentially implying that I'm a traitor to the country that I love, what she essentially is doing is taking my life away. So what this lawsuit is about is actually valuing the honor and the loyalty and integrity that every one of our service members embodies, and saying that no one can try to defame them. We will not allow that to go unchecked.
So Hillary Clinton said the other day that she's behind all Democrats, and of course she's the woman's candidate, the candidate of female empowerment. Why do you think she singled you out as a woman and accused you of colluding with a foreign government? I mean, that's not the Hillary they want us to think she is.
I think it was a very clear and intentional message that if you dare to cross Hillary Clinton or her powerful allies, that you too will see your reputation smeared. You too will get the kind of false and baseless accusations that we've seen from Hillary towards me. It's an attempt to silence anyone who dares to cross her.
I mean, grooming you like you're the Manchurian candidate, like you've gone to school in Moscow and are posing as an American. What do you think will happen in this lawsuit? What's her response been so far?
To my knowledge, we've not gotten any kind of official or unofficial response. I think it's important to point out that this is all happening in spite of the fact that, as I mentioned, I have been serving as a soldier now for our country for almost 17 years, deploying twice to the Middle East, serving in Congress for 7 going on 8 years on the Foreign Affairs Committee, the Armed Services and Homeland Security Committees, dedicating my entire adult life in service to our country. All of this aside, she still goes on and makes these claims that somehow implying I'm a traitor to the country that I love.
On the basis of no evidence. It looks like she's going to run for president. That's the sense you get. Her spokesman said she was open to it on this show. Do you think she's considering getting in the race?
I have no idea. I'm here in New Hampshire. I'm focused on our campaign. Election day in New Hampshire here is in 19 days. And I think the American people, what I'm hearing from across party lines, Democrats, Republicans, independents, libertarians, are coming to our town halls every single day, disagreeing on some or even maybe many issues, but coming together around this central point that you and I often talk about how our country needs to stop waging these wasteful regime change wars. We need a commander-in-chief who will work to end this new Cold War and nuclear arms race and redirect our taxpayer dollars towards really serving the needs of people here at home. That is what I'm seeking to do as President Commander-in-Chief, and prepared to do so from day one.
People are shocked you sued her. I didn't find it shocking. She accused you of being groomed by a foreign power to subvert this country. So we're, of course, rooting for you in this. Congresswoman, thanks so much for coming on.
Thanks.
Hold on. Sorry, I had the wrong mic hot. I don't know why that fucking mic goes hot. What's Trump sucks. Trump is a douchebag. Trump has been a douchebag his whole life. He's a lying piece of shit who wouldn't know the truth if it bit him in his ass. And as long as he's president, the troops are never going to come home from Iraq. The endless war on drugs is never going to end, and it's just going to be the same status fucking quo forever.
You know he's going to win in 2020, right?
It's entirely possible, unless, of course, they run Bernie Sanders and Tulsi Gabbard against him. Then, Bernie Sanders will take voters away from Trump, and so will Tulsi Gabbard. So that's the best chance they have right there.
Yeah. Tell me about the dads for donation.
Well, we do, you kick down a donation and I'll do a dab. I got a nice fat one right here ready to go.
Really? I just do a donation?
Yeah, I got to donate and I'll do a dab.
I know. Okay.
There's clickable links in the description box if you want to donate, or I can put some links in the chat if you want. Steven, is that what you said? Or Steve?
Yes.
Steve or Steven?
It is Steve.
Hey, Steve. So where are you calling from, man?
Where?
Yeah.
Florida.
Florida, right on. What's the weather like there?
It ain't bad, 60s.
Right on. You guys don't have the legal weed there yet, huh?
No,
Well, you got to work on that, Steve.
Oh yeah, we are. We're working on the legalization of Perk 30s right now.
Huh. Okay.
You got Perk 30s?
No. All right. Well, thanks for calling, Steve. Good to hear from you. I hate it when they start saying stuff, and it's like, that they're saying something that they think is hilarious, and I have no idea what the fuck they're saying. So I have to end the conversation at that point, because if I don't know what you're saying, and you're saying something fucked up, I don't want to continue the conversation. So we're clear. Anyways, thanks to Steven for calling. Let's see, and the phone lines are open. Anybody can call. I have a clip for again. I have a cop shootout with a guy with like an AK-47, just like. If you guys want to see that video, I have a Epstein pedophile island clip. If you want to see that, that's coming up here in just a minute. High schools are doing vaping interventions now. Oh, and have the Bernie wealth tax. I think that the elite are getting nervous. They're you're gonna start hearing over and over and over again this word, socialist. But you're gonna hear it. Socialist, socialist, socialist. It's gonna be like in the years after 9/11, it was terrorist, 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 terrorist. Now you're gonna start to hear this word socialist, 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 over and over and over and over. So don't be afraid, because we gotta get this Trump guy out of business. If you ever want the wars to end, okay, like I said, in my ideal future, I don't see a DEA. There's no room in my ideal future for a DEA, Drug Enforcement Administration. There is no room for that. We have no need for it. What it has brought us is a heroin epidemic to this country, okay? Bernie Sanders, Tulsi Gabbard have both said, I will end the war on drugs. Tulsi Gabbard just gave an interview where she said she will legalize all drugs. You know why? Because you're an adult and you can decide for yourself what you would like to put into your body. And you know why else? Because the fucking drug war doesn't work. The fucking drug war has brought us an epidemic of heroin use, overdoses. A heroin overdose epidemic. Every major city across the country. Okay? And in a lot of little local towns too, from what I understand. So, the DEA is completely motherfucking worthless, and probably is conniving to make the heroin, has connived to bring about the heroin epidemic purposefully. They did it on purpose. So we deserve better. The pillars of the community are completely full of shit. We can do so much better. Tulsi Gabbard. If anybody gets a chance to ask Bernie Sanders a question, okay? Tulsi Gabbard has said that she asked Bernie this question. Say, Tulsi Gabbard has said that she will pardon Edward Snowden and Julian Assange of all charges. If you become president, will you pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden of all U.S. charges? Because that's one of the most important. See, if he was to do that, he would get the attention of everyone. Okay, I mean, except for these fucking Nimrod Trump voters who, when he looks into the fucking camera, look directly into your eyes and says, I don't know anything about Julian Assange or WikiLeaks. That's what Donald Trump said. He's completely full of shit, and he believes you're stupid enough to believe him. Okay? That's who Donald Trump is. We deserve better. You know, I'm absolutely certain that everybody else is full of shit because that's what we get. But we deserve better. And it's worth a try. Again, the idea of ending the drug war, that's the future America that I see. Right? Not this bullshit police state where fucking the police have their fucking jackboot on the back of everybody's neck. Every one of your fucking children is constantly looking over their shoulder for the fucking cops. Even if they're good kids. Because the cops are so fucking scary. So, you know, we can do better. That's all I know. And I know that I can play that Bernie clip. You want to see the Bernie clip? It's the Bernie wealth tax. See, I was watching this clip earlier and I was thinking, these people are terrified that Bernie Sanders is actually gaining ground. That Bernie Sanders looks like he might become the Democratic nominee. They're terrified. The elites are becoming quite scared. Okay, so apparently they like Trump and his endless fucking wars that he promised to end.
This call.
Hello, caller.
Michael, this is Steve McClanahan.
Steve, how are you today?
Michael, how the fuck do you think I am? I'm in fucking jail, Michael.
Okay, Steve.
Okay, but I'm bringing you live reports right now. I'm telling you what, there was a jail fight today. My cellie, he still let me use the cell phone. That's pretty legit. I mean, if I had the live stream in here, telling you, these two individuals, they got a fight about a cup of noodles. They're extremely angry. They're extremely fucking angry in here, Michael. I don't know why everyone's so fucking angry. Why does everybody have to be so fucking angry, Michael?
Because the world is full of shit, Steve. You try and live your life and the world fucking treats you like it's full of shit, and you're like, why? How can you live your life if the world is so full of shit?
Well, Michael, I'm starting to think that I want to get the fuck out of the jail, but I think I'm going to having to stick it out over the weekend because a fucking goddamn court date's not till fucking Monday, Michael, and this is all misunderstanding. I was not fucking driving the fucking vehicle, Michael. Okay, there might have been some fucking dope in the vehicle, but it's fine. It wasn't my dope. It was just weed, okay? Jesus Christ. Everyone freaks out when they hear the word dope. You know, Jesus Christ, the cops and stuff, the guards in here, you know. If you got some cash, you could probably get whatever you needed in here. I mean, we're on a cell phone right now. We're doing a live report from the fucking Kansas City jail. I'm going to do a sports report right now. Everything is kind of, you know, kind of okay in here. Because the fucking Kansas City Chiefs are going to the goddamn Super Bowl against San Francisco fucking 69ers. I tell you what, these sons of bitches are definitely going to lose because that's all they really do during practice. And it's horrifying. And so they really should practice more. And fortunately, ladies and gentlemen, we're making predictions. Call in now if you want to take a bet. We're your new bookie right now. How much do you got to spend? Kansas City Chiefs are fucking going to destroy the goddamn San Francisco 49ers. Coming to you live from fucking Kansas City jail. Reporting the sports. Fucking reporting the news. Reporting fucking all the bullshit that's going on. Bologna sandwiches are terrible. I fucking hate bologna. The fucking only movie that I've got to see in the entire time, you're not going to fucking believe this. You are not going to believe the only movie they will let us fucking watch in here. It's the fucking Fifth Element. It's the Fifth Element.
There is no way they will let you watch that movie in there, Steve.
They are making us watch the Fifth Element every day.
No way
Michael,
they will let you watch that.
Yeah.
Mila Jovovich is way too hot to be showing to a bunch of fucking guys stuck in prison.
It's either that or boxing, Michael. You don't know what it's like being in here. I swear to God, everywhere I go, fucking Fifth Element. I can't get away from this fucking movie. It's ridiculous. This movie drives me insane, Michael. I tell you what.
Me too.
All right, Michael, I got to go because this is my celly's phone. I'm bringing you the live reports. If I get any more breaking news, I might call you back. I tell you what. But I got to go.
Okay, Steve, will you stay cool? You'll get through it.
We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're keeping a fucking positive fucking attitude, whether you like it or not. Here, there's really nothing to fucking do in here, really. God damn it. This is bullshit, Michael. But we're gonna make it. We're doing it.
You can do it, Steve.
All right, Michael. I'm going. I gotta get off the fucking phone, Michael. Hey, fuck you, bitch! I'm not joining your prison gang. I'm not doing this shit. I'm a live fucking news reporter, and I'm trying to do a fucking interview right now. Lay off me. All right, dude, I'm going to have to fucking start regulating us in here, Michael. I'm not even playing. Okay, yeah. All right, I got to go.
Okay, Steve.
All right, goodbye.
Bye. Steve McClanahan coming to you from the Kansas City jail, apparently. Okay, so where are we at on this? I went and got water during that last clip. I needed water. I don't know why I didn't have water in here. I thought I had water in here, but I went and got some water. So now I have water. Got that going for me. You guys ready for the Bernie Sanders clip? I can play the Bernie Sanders clip for you. And you understand what I'm seeing. I'm seeing I'm seeing that it appears that the powers that be are beginning to look at Bernie Sanders as if he is a genuine threat. Obviously, the elites and the Democratic Party are going after him. Like I said, you're going to hear this word again and again and again, socialist. And then this clip that I have about Bernie's wealth tax is from Fox News. So the conservatives are getting nervous also about Bernie. So I think that that's kind of interesting. I think that that's good news for everyone, including Bernie and Tulsi. I'm absolutely certain Tulsi will have something to do with Bernie, if not being his VP. Although I think that would be great if Tulsi Gabbard could be Bernie Sanders' VP. That she would draw a percentage of Trump voters. You know, probably almost 10%. And that Bernie's going to draw a little bit of a percentage. I don't think he's going to draw as big a percentage as her, but maybe. Which means, you know, they actually have a pretty good shot at beating him. So, and they're getting, I mean, Bernie's getting the money. So he has the donors, and they're ready to donate more. They're just waiting for him to actually, get some of these other fucktards out of the way, right? I cannot wait for him to be the nominee. I cannot wait. Make him the nominee, and then he says, I'm choosing Tulsi Gabbard as my vice presidential candidate, running mate. I just fucking am gonna be going into overdrive, man. That's what I'm gonna tell you right now. Going into overdrive. Feel the burn. 2020. Okay, so I'll play that clip for you now. You want to see the Bernie clip? It is, let's see, the Bernie clip is clip number 7. You want to see that? I'll play that for you now.
All right, maybe because he's the front runner and all of a sudden got a lot more attention than he used to. A new analysis of Bernie Sanders' tax plan shows that the plan itself will generate about $1 trillion to $1.5 trillion less than what the campaign claims, undercutting his education and health care plans. Now, that is an economic study which is then put together by economists who are often wrong, not all the time, but well, all the time. Anyway, Danielle McLaughlin rejoins us, Boyd Matheson, Jack Otter. Danielle, what'd you make of that?
Well, I thought one of the more interesting points was that although Wharton says that Bernie Sanders' campaign is off, it still estimates that the wealth tax will raise between $2.8 and $3.3 trillion over a 10-year period, which is not an insignificant amount of money.
But that's assuming that money is static and doesn't move.
Right. Well, I mean, also, this is a prediction, which is what we are sold even when it's a tax cut. You know, the idea that there are models, we are projecting what human behavior will be like, what markets will do, et cetera. So, you take it with a grain of salt.
It's important to say, first of all, every single politician ever has predicted a better outcome from his or her economic plan.
That's right.
Remember, 6% growth. But one important thing is it will not surprise anyone to know that Elizabeth Warren has a plan for what to do with that money. As a result, Wharton scored that as adding a little bit of growth. It also says her plan subtracts from growth in some ways, but in other ways it says it adds to it.
But it also says that hers isn't paid for, right?
Oh, absolutely, absolutely. But the difference between Warren and Bernie here is that she said, I'd do X, Y, and Z. They say, okay, that'll add a little bit to growth. Bernie did not say what he would do with it. As a result, it didn't add to growth.
But they're the two biggest taxers in the bunch.
Yeah.
So I'm wondering how that plays out.
Yeah, and the problem with both of those plans is that eventually they will run out of other people's money, and the economy will crash.
I don't mind it if they just stop at yours.
Yeah, don't tax me, don't tax you. But again, ultimately, I think that's going to be the test, because if the Democrats really do swing left, the economy keeps rolling well, that's going to be harder again for those middle voters who really will determine this in critical places like Wisconsin, Michigan, Ohio, Pennsylvania.
But do you ever get the sense, guys, that, I know that you hear the White House people say, Bernie Sanders or Elizabeth Warren would be their dream nominee. And I'm old enough to remember how the Carter folks prayed it would be Ronald Reagan and not George Bush Sr. because he was the crazy conservative cowboy that could walk all over him. We know what happened. So when I look at Sanders' stubbornness in the polls, I mean, he's doing okay. Now, I know that's dangerous to glom onto those. It's all we've got. And he's holding up better than a lot of his rivals. What are we to make of that? Are Republicans getting ahead of themselves?
That's a good question.
That's what I do.
It is. It's why you're sitting here, Neil, and I'm sitting here. We have two far left progressives in this group, and I think that's a really interesting sort of question or calculus, is if they both stay into the end, they're basically splitting voters amongst them. I mean, your great points about the difference that Wharton saw is not really resonating with the average voter who sort of sees them as two big socialists. Right. So I think if they both stay in, it divides their sort of power in the
Is that it, that
primaries.
They cancel each other's votes?
Yeah. Well, and I think it's interesting, too, because you do have someone like an Amy Klobuchar who is stuck in the Senate with some of her colleagues there. But she's one that has no motivation to get out of the race at this point. And
she's everyone's number one or number two.
Which in places like Iowa, these caucus states, that's very important, because if you're everyone's favorite number two, you can have a really good night.
And we might point out, it was 4 years ago, everyone dismissed, and certainly in the Democratic Party, they hoped that Donald Trump would be the nominee because they could squash him like a vote.
Exactly. But I will say your point about Bernie, could he really win, is an interesting one because of this factor that he's really not that different from Trump. And people think I'm insane for saying that, but the reality is they are the two populists on either side. And depending on who you think is evil, you vote for either Bernie or Trump.
Yeah.
How great a series of debates would that be? Come on.
It's those wraparound voters. I mean, it's why you get people
right.
like Mike Lee and Bernie Sanders
like,
voting similar, but for different reasons.
Okay, which boomer?
Yeah.
Pick a boomer.
I think they're over boomers.
Beyond boomer.
As a boomer, I can say that. All right. Coming up.
Hot mic. Okay, so everything is good. Everything's good. Everything's good. I just think that these guys are, they're showing that they're afraid that Bernie Sanders is coming on strong, which I love. I think this is good news when they come out with these. Every time they come out against Bernie Sanders, right? Bernie seems to get more support. Hillary coming out. You see the Democrats coming out. You're going to see more and more Democrats. They're going to make clear in the next 2 weeks, Bernie Sanders is not a real Democrat. Okay? Trying to get you to vote for Joe Biden or whoever, not you necessarily, but people in Iowa and New Hampshire. And somewhere else is voting already. I saw they're doing early voting somewhere. But I think, oh, you want to see the Epstein video? I got Epstein video. I can play the Epstein video now. Epstein video. Let's see. This and Epstein. Yeah, okay. I can play the Epstein video. Hold on. I'll play it now.
We're learning more about Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes on his own Caribbean island from people who live nearby. The late financier is accused of trafficking underage girls to the private island near St. Thomas, sexually assaulting them and keeping them there against their will. Mola Lenghi has been gathering these witness accounts.
Well, good morning. Some locals we've spoken to here in St. Thomas say that Jeffrey Epstein's alleged crimes on his private island were somewhat of an open secret. Some even refer to it as Pedophile Island. One alleged victim we spoke to wants to know why he wasn't charged sooner.
People we spoke to here tell us Jeffrey Epstein rarely left his private island, but word about his alleged crimes on Little St. James did, along with rumors about the 13-month sentence Epstein received over a decade ago for procuring an underage girl in Florida for sex. Charter Captain Jim Query.
What was the talk about Little St. James Island?
Yeah, the talk was just that he had gotten some crazy sweetheart deal. We were always just told it was a super short sentence and maybe some time of house arrest. I never knew if that was true on the island, but that there was basically little to no penalty.
To get to Little St. James, Epstein first flew into nearby St. Thomas, where he also had stakes in several businesses, including Hyperion Air. According to the lawsuit, Hyperion Air owns the 2 helicopters Epstein allegedly used to transport young women and underage girls between St. Thomas and Little St. James. U.S. Virgin Islands Attorney General Denise George says the web of companies made it difficult to monitor the convicted sex offender.
Was this done to conceal his identity?
We believe it is, and we allege that it was.
Epstein's other alleged business ventures included a company called Southern Trust. He also allegedly had ties to the American Yacht Harbor. Neither company is named as a defendant in the lawsuit. A harbor employee told us this boat, with the letters LSJ, is used to ferry workers and supplies to and from Little St. James. According to local media outlets, Epstein also donated money to local government officials in the U.S. Virgin Islands and donated dozens of computers to be given away at schools.
Was he known on the island as being someone who was philanthropic or donated to charitable causes or an upstanding member of the community in any other capacity?
I can't comment fully on that, but definitely I do not think he was regarded as an upstanding member of the community. It was public knowledge that he was a registered sex offender.
George, who took office just months before Epstein's death by suicide last year, is now suing Epstein's estate, alleging he continued his sex trafficking operation here until at least 2018. For one alleged victim we spoke to on the condition of anonymity, the lawsuit is a bit late in the game.
to me, it's sort of last minute, and there's victims from, I think, the 80s, the 90s. I think a lot of people knew what he was up to. I don't know why nothing was done before.
Do you think a blind eye was turned to Mr. Epstein's crimes?
I cannot comment on that, but what I do know is that once we got here, this new administration, and we will not turn a blind eye. We will enforce it.
Well, according to local government officials here, Jeffrey Epstein made the U.S. Virgin Islands his permanent residency in 2010. Gail?
Thank you very much, Mola Lange reporting. The questions still continue even after his death.
Yes.
Still so disgusting.
There's so much we don't know about what went on there.
Yeah.
You know, all these people act like shocked. You know, they act that all these journalists, they all knew what was going on. They because they've been contacted again and again by people saying, hey, this is happening. They're journalists. They're high-profile journalists. These people are desperately searching for someone, this journalist, to try and get the word out, and they won't listen. You know why? Because they're all in on it. They're all part of the fucking game. You know, you can every time they have one of these authorities, you know, like talking about it, these people look like more full of shit than Jeffrey Epstein himself. You know, it's horrible. This is this bullshit world, man. We can do better. I know we can. And us little guys, the working class, we deserve better, okay, than these people who think they can get away with whatever because nothing's ever going to touch them. Fuck those people. I can't stand it anymore. You know, we deserve better. So if anybody wants to call, phone number, the phone's hot. It's 805-669-6397. I only have 2 clips left. I have the cop shootout with the AK-40. It looks like an AK-47 or something like that. The guy's holding like this. And then I have a fucking tiger clip. Craig found a new fucking tiger clip yesterday, but he's got it in the background, so I can't play it when I'm in the way. I get in the way of it, so I like this one. It's very cute. Boo! Boo! I'm terrifying. See how terrifying I am. Rawr. Like that one. But it doesn't work the same way this one does. You know. See, the thing is that we used to live in this world. Wait a minute, is that tiger? Is that tiger? No, there's no tiger. Fucking tiger. That's the world we used to live in. You know. I guess some people still have those issues. I saw a clip last night where some dad had to pull a coyote off his kid. Another guy had to pull a mountain lion off their kid. They killed the mountain lion. Bad. But I guess what are you going to do if it's attacking people? Okay, so I have as far as these clips left, I have the high schools are doing vaping interventions now with students. And the reason I want to bring this up is because this guy, this is the main character of this story, the main person, the main speaker in this story, he just looks like one of these profiteers. I hate these profiteer people, man, who go out and talk about how bad marijuana is. You know, because the only reason they're doing that is because there's this giant audience that's desperate to hear that marijuana is bad. Giant audience. Because they're never going to do it. So if they're never going to do it, it must be bad. You know, and the giant audience, they love the police state. They have somehow in their fucked up brains that marijuana is evil. Not that marijuana is one of God's greatest gifts to mankind, which it is, but their brains have been poisoned into believing that it's evil. So, and there's all these people like this, all these different classes, but I see it like right here on the vaping. I see a whole new class of them expanding out into vaping, and now they're going into the schools and they're doing interventions, and these profiteers, you know, and it's not just the smoking, and it's not just the children. It's all these things. It's like with the guns, right? With the guns, the people that are leading these organizations, they probably don't have any real big feelings either way. They just see suckers that they can fleece. Oh yeah, I support your gun rights so much, you know. Or we got to get these guns off the street, because they know that there's people out there that are desperate to hear that message, and that they will give them money if they just preach that message loud enough, you know. I've had guns. I mean, I don't have a gun now. I don't ever want to have another gun. I hope I never have to touch another gun. But I grew up with guns. I know guns very well. And I really don't want anything to do with them. At the same time, I love the Second Amendment. I think the Second Amendment is the reason that we have the other amendments are still in place. You know, if it wasn't for the Second Amendment, they'd all be gone. You know, which they're trying to. They erode them as much as they can. These people who take an oath to the Constitution just make me want to puke my guts up. You know, who the fuck takes an oath to protect your rights, to defend the Constitution, which means protect your rights, a vow, a sacred vow, with their hand on the holy book of their choice, right? Swearing to the deity of their choice that they will protect the Constitution from all enemies, foreign and domestic, and then they vote for laws that limit your freedom of speech, like the BDS laws. You know, the boycott, divest, and sanction laws, where, oh yeah, you can support all the sanctions that we want except for ones against Israel. Oh, you can speak out against any country that you want except for Israel. Okay, everyone that votes for that is in my opinion, an enemy to the Constitution, because the Constitution makes clear that this is an inalienable rights, to your right to freedom of expression, to your right to say what you feel needs to be said. And then these people who take a vow to the Constitution say you can't speak out against Israel. You can't do it. No, not going to be allowed anymore. If you do, you're going to have your name put on a government list. And that list will eventually be sent to re-education camps. So we're clear. That's why they build lists like this. And that's how much freedom we really have. And that's how much, again, the only real threat to our freedom are the people in Washington, D.C. It's not ISIS. It's not China. It's not Russia. It's not Iran. The only threat to our freedom is the people who took a sacred vow, swearing to their God to protect our rights. They're the only ones that are fucking over our rights. They're the only ones that have the power to do it, and they don't hesitate to do it again and again and again. Okay? These people must go. All the parties must go. It must be Americans representing Americans, not fucking Republicans representing fucking Republicans, and fucking Democrats representing fucking Democrats. I'm tired of it. It doesn't work for one single working class human being. Okay? None of us are being represented. If you think you are a giant Kool-Aid drinker. You drink it by the gallon all day, every day. Good luck with that. So we must we must abolish all political parties. Craig tells me that is a trending hashtag on the Twitter. Abolish all political parties. I love that. Especially since I didn't know that was a trending discussion that's being had, because it's the most important discussion we can possibly have. Get rid of every one of these fucking cunts who say, oh, I'm a Democrat. I'm a Democrat. Fuck that. Okay, we don't need fucking Democrats. We don't need fucking Republicans. We need proud Americans standing up to defend our Constitution and our rights. That's what they're supposed to be doing. Any fucking other agenda, in my opinion, is treasonous. If defending the Constitution against all enemies, foreign, domestic, is not your top of your agenda, you are a treasonous cunt who should be locked up to protect our Constitution, because you're a threat to it. You said you would protect it, and then you act in other ways. Okay? You are a threat to our Constitution, and the reason that this is so important, that they're a threat to our Constitution, is because that makes them a threat to our freedom. The only real threat to our freedom are these fucking cunts in Washington, D.C. and in your local governments. The fucking petty tyrants in your local governments. Okay? And it's because they have this Democratic agenda and this Republican agenda, which doesn't express the American agenda. You know what the Democrats' agenda and the Republicans' agenda is? To keep endless wars going, endlessly. Like the war on drugs, for-profit prisons, like the war in Iraq that Donald Trump promised to end. Okay, and he just keeps sending more and more troops over there. Oh yeah, I'm going to end the endless wars. Bullshit. Iraq government told Donald Trump, get all your troops out of our country, and Donald Trump said, we'll pull our troops out when you pay for the bases that we've built there. This means under Donald Trump's presidency, the troops are never, ever coming out of Iraq. Okay? Donald Trump must go. Unless, of course, you want the endless wars. Because that's why he was elected. I mean, other than the fact that Hillary Clinton was forced down the throats of the Democrats by the elite fucking cunts in the Democratic Party, who think they know best and thought it was Hillary's turn. If Bernie had been the nominee in 2016, he would have destroyed Donald Trump. Now we have the chance to where we can maybe get some sanity back in the world. And it sure as hell ain't going to happen with Donald Trump in charge. That's not a sane world. That's that's crazy land right there. That's like, what kind of fucking country is this where the best example that we can find to make America the shiny beacon in the world again is fucking Donald J. Trump. Okay? Worthless fucking scumbag. Okay? That is never going to be good for any of us. Unless, of course, you're heavily invested in the stock market or something. All right. So, we have the chance. We can still make it happen. Tulsi is now an American folk hero for having sued Hillary Clinton in the middle of a presidential campaign. She took on the mightiest Democrat there is, the queen of the warmongers, the rot that is the queen of the warmongers, that is the personification of the rot in the Democratic Party. She has taken her on and suing her for $50 million. Tulsi Gabbard at this point reaches American folk hero status. Okay? So, and I think that if Bernie Sanders is to pull Tulsi as his vice presidential running mate, there's no way Donald Trump and Mike Pence can beat them. But the Democrats will do everything they can do to beat both Tulsi and Bernie, and they've already showed that to be true. Okay? Which means they really have no interest in they really have no interest in winning this election because Mike Bloomberg ain't gonna do it, and fucking Joe Biden ain't gonna do it, and Elizabeth Warren is already a fucking a punchline for Donald Trump. Okay, so Elizabeth Warren ain't gonna do it, and Amy Klobuchar is a fucking nobody, and she ain't gonna do it. She has a zero charisma nobody. She ain't gonna do it. So, you know, this is our chance. Okay, you want to rally behind somebody. You want endless wars. Go ahead, vote for Donald Trump. We'll have 5 more years of war. Okay, that's all there is to it. You vote for Bernie Sanders. You vote for Tulsi Gabbard. They're gonna bring the troops home. They're gonna fight and fight and fight to bring the troops home. And then you know what? We have an extra $1 trillion in our budget every year to spend. Because that's what we're spending in Iraq, in Syria, and Afghanistan. Probably 2 or 3 times that, so you know. So, and, like I said, Tulsi has already said that she will pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. Okay, actual heroes, an actual genuine journalist, and a hero who stepped up and put his life on the line to make sure that we knew that the NSA is spying on all of us. Okay, so, and Tulsi Gabbard will pardon both of them. So if anybody gets the chance, please, please, please ask Bernie Sanders. Tulsi Gabbard has said that she will pardon Julian Assange and Edward Snowden. Will you say the same thing? Because I'd really like to know where he stands on that. Alright? So that's where I'm at. God damn it, fucker. That's where I'm at. If I just want to make that clear. Since no one's calling... okay, so let's see. Okay, I'm going to play another clip since nobody's calling. I have... Oh, cop shootout. We'll play the cop shootout clip. Because it's kind of exciting.
Welcome to the show. I'm Michael Allen. We start with a life and death situation playing out.
Bullets flying. Dashcam video shows countless rounds flying through the air.
Crazy that it was right by my house.
Yeah, pretty hard to believe, but no one was killed in a police shootout in Tennessee. How did a seemingly routine traffic stop lead to this wild shootout? Here's more from our Philly WTVC.
Bullets flying at THP trooper Khalat Ghazi's patrol car.
I witnessed a white male come out of the driver's door with some type of pistol or revolver and fired approximately 5 shots at my vehicle.
That man, Trooper Rich Thomas identified as Cody Seals, who troopers say was driving the Ford F-150 speeding down Highway 27 on January 9th. Dashcam video shows countless rounds flying through the air. Today in court was the first time anyone had seen this staggering footage of the pursuit. Officers say intended to be a traffic stop.
The smoke and then like glasses shatters from the window hitting my patrol car.
Also the first time neighbors like Nick Zumbrun had the chance to see what had happened less than a mile away from where he lives.
It's crazy that it was right by my house.
A point of view Nick says is impossible to fathom.
Can't imagine being in their shoes.
Now, the alleged shooter, Cody Seals, released from a local hospital, transported to the Hamilton County Jail, facing a slew of charges, including 2 counts of attempted first-degree murder, possession of meth for resale, felony evading, and reckless driving. The passenger in the car facing drug charges. Let's bring in retired NYPD Lieutenant Criminal Justice expert Darren Porcher. Darren, you watched that video. How surprised are you no one was killed in all this?
All right. So, anyways, that was I thought that was an interesting piece of video. We don't need to talk. We don't need to listen to the cop guy talk. But I thought that was an interesting piece of video. I thought I wanted to share that with you. You don't see that every day. And I have the school vaping interventions video still. Oh, and I have a Sasquatch video. You guys see the Sasquatch video? I posted it right before I came on the air. Yeah, I thought that was interesting. Don't see the guys with the AK-47 shooting at the cop like that every day. All right, so let's see. Bernie's wealth tax, Sasquatch video. Yeah, fucking tiger. We got the fucking tiger. We played that video, though. We can play it again. I like the fucking tiger video. And nobody's calling, so I'm not going to just stay out here rambling for a whole lot longer. I'll ramble a little bit longer, but not a whole lot. Is that a tiger? No, I don't see no tiger. What are you talking about, man? Fucking tiger! No, you don't think that was an AK? What do you think that was? Oh, the Sasquatch. The Sasquatch was a Washington State Department of Transportation camera. Hello, caller.
Yo, Michael, this is Steve McClanahan. What's up?
Hey, Steve. How are you doing?
You know, I'm up here in the jail and shit. I just had to regulate. I had to motherfucking, you know what I'm saying? I had to, lay it down. I had to lay down the law. I'm starting a new prison gang up in this motherfucker, Michael.
Okay, Steve. Well, I hope that works out well for you.
You know, it's the Mox News prison gang. Yeah. Mox News prison gang, and we tired of all this bullshit. And if you want to unite and not divide, you can get up in this gang and shit, motherfucker. And that's why I had to get up here and I had to fucking tell them, if you fuck with me, motherfucker, I will put your motherfucking ass on the news. I told them all that. I said, I'm regulating right now Steve McClanahan in the fucking jail. He's not fucking around. I'm trying to make it to my motherfucking court date. Alright?
Okay.
Now, listen. Michael.
Uh-huh.
These people, they hear you. They're hearing, they're listening. Now, the Mox News prison gang is taking over all the prisons across the entire planet tonight, Michael. Right now. I'm putting my foot down here in jail. Everyone's giving me the fucking cup of noodles tonight. Tonight. Oh, I will fuck them up and put them on the motherfucking news, Michael. Because we ain't fucking around over here at Mox News motherfucking radio. Motherfucker.
I hear you, Steve.
Live in Seattle, motherfucking Washington. Corresponding, a.k.a. in the motherfucking jail in motherfucking Kansas City, where the motherfucking Kansas City Chiefs is going to the fucking Super Bowl, motherfuckers. And it's all good. It's all motherfucking good in the hood. We in jail. We don't give a fuck. Kansas City Chiefs to go fucking Super Bowl. We don't give a shit. I'm fucking taking over this motherfucking place. Patrick Mahomes is going to take over the fucking entire planet. Going to fucking completely crush and destroy the fucking 49ers. God, nobody even knows who these fucking people are. I mean, the people that fucking even think that the 49ers are even going to be able to score a point are fucking mentally retarded. I mean, Michael, I'm sorry, but I take that back. But Michael, we're not fucking around anymore. We're going to make it to court. I've got a fucking public defender. You know, we're doing it. We're going to do it live. We're going to the Super Bowl, whether you like it or not.
Right on, Steve.
America. America, Michael. How do you say it?
America.
Michael. All right, ladies and gentlemen, gonna do a fucking real quick advertisement for a sponsor, God's Vagina. Ladies and gentlemen, if I could only have God's Vagina here in the jail right now, that would just make things better. And I would fucking blast that motherfucking God's Vagina right up.
I hear you, Steve. Me
Ladies
too,
and
man.
gentlemen.
God's Vagina makes
God's
everything
Vagina.
better.
God's Vagina. Ladies and gentlemen. Oh, there's nothing to do here in the fucking jail. Really, there's not. God damn it, Michael. This is fucking bullshit. I don't know. I don't know, Michael. I gotta go. I have to go.
Okay, Steve. It's good to hear from you, bro. Stay cool.
Hey, we're keeping a positive attitude, Michael.
You can do it, Steve.
We're doing it.
I know you are.
You are.
Okay, Steve.
No, you are, motherfucker. You were doing it, Michael. But I'm in fucking jail. This is bullshit. I'm tired of this shit, Michael. I need a raise. I need a seriously like a 90% raise.
We'll talk about it later.
I think that's reasonable. I think that's fucking reasonable.
We'll see if when you interview Bullshit Tron, then we'll talk about a raise, Steve.
Oh my fucking god, that fucking guy. Oh.
You get me an interview with Bullshit Tron, and we'll talk about a raise then.
Oh jeez, I don't even want to see that fucking son of a bitch. You know how much he's gonna fucking hang this over my head? He was like, "Oh, so you were in jail, huh? You're a fucking criminal." So yeah, I don't know. Yeah, he's older. He knows it all. He's angry. I will fucking kick Super Bullshit Tron's ass if he didn't fucking shoot fucking green lasers out of his goddamn stupid fucking hand. Son of a bitch. You just can't do anything against that. It's just, you can't do it. And, yeah.
Just get an interview, Steve. That's all I want.
Yeah, Michael. Easier said than done, Michael. I swear to God, he's antisocial. Let's just put it that way. You know, there's a lot of people out there that are antisocial, you know. Poor guy, son of a bitch. He needs to get off his fucking ass, though, I tell you what. Now I think about it. Alright, Michael, I gotta go because I gotta keep things in line here, currently in the fucking jail, because I gotta make it to court. And these motherfuckers ain't fucking it up for me, okay? They want me to join their gang? No, I'm starting a gang. The Mox News, motherfucking goddamn county fucking jail, goddamn correctional facility for extremely angry people. Okay? Everyone needs to chill the fuck out. Yeah. Just fucking, you can have your dope when you get out of here. Just fucking remain calm. I had to tell them, I will put you on the fucking news. Now you listen to me. And so, yeah, I got a large stack of noodles. I'm fucking kicked back. I got the fucking cell phone. Everything's fine. The guards are cool. They're happy. Chiefs are going to the Super Bowl. Everything is fine. I'm getting out of here. We're doing it.
Good deal, Steve. Keep the faith,
man.
man.
I have to save battery because, you know, I haven't actually acquired a fucking phone charger yet. So that's kind of fun. All right, Michael, we'll talk to you later.
Okay, Steve. Nice to hear from you.
10-4 over and out.
Well, that's interesting. Hope Steve stays safe there. Sounds like he's got plenty of noodles to keep him fed, at least. Okay, so that's Steve McClanahan calling from jail in Kansas City, apparently, where I imagine people are probably pretty happy because they're going to the Super Bowl. All right, I'll play the Sasquatch video in case you guys didn't see it before you came out here.
If you've been waiting for a FedEx package, beware of a text message that you may get that only looks like it came from the shipping giant. Right now, FedEx is trying to clear up a text and email scam. The messages alert you that you have a package and then gives you a link. The company says don't open it, just delete the message. FedEx also says that people should report the emails and text to them using the email abuse@fedex.com.
New photos are adding some fresh intrigue to the legend of Sasquatch. WashDOT shared these photos from one of the cameras near Sherman Pass. We have it circled for you there. You see that large, dark figure standing by a tree. The agency says it can't confirm if that is in fact Bigfoot, so it's leaving that up for you to decide. If it is Bigfoot, though, it appears to have been frozen because the shadowy figure is still there right now on their live web camera. Yeah, so somebody's having some fun.
Yeah, I think so. They're having a good time with us all. But you see all the snow that's still up there?
We have one clip left of school vaping interventions. I have the do not disturb is off on the telephone if anyone wants to call. Otherwise, you know, we'll go ahead and we'll play the other clip here in a sec. The Sasquatch clip, I just played that because I know Michael's a fan of Sasquatch. I know it's kind of lame, but those people, you know, it's a Northwest legend, you know, that I appreciate. I like the legend of Sasquatch a lot, and I like that it's still going. You know, it's one of those ones that we haven't faded away yet, like Santa or Jesus, you know. Still out in the wild. He could still be out there stalking us right now at this moment, watching our every move. Okay, I guess I'll play the vaping intervention video. Nobody wants to call? You don't want to call? Are you sure? The telephones are ready. It's 805-669-6397. 805-669-6397. That's 805 Mox News. So otherwise, I will play another video. Because I guess I have one left. I have one video left. I'll go ahead and play it for you. It's a video clip number 6. It's a high school's intervention. High schools are starting to do interventions for vaping now. And I think that this is this is one of these things, man. This vaping thing, you know, oh, it's an epidemic. They don't care about epidemics. There's a heroin epidemic. What's being done about it? Nothing. Okay? You have to take the laws off these fucking... The laws are only going to make it worse. It makes people, oh, we can't get our fruit flavors that we like anymore, so we have to turn to somebody else who still makes those fruit flavors that, you know, aren't in a proper controlled environment. You know, which is no big deal to make vape juice. It's pretty basic. But at the same time, you know, these people are acting like, you know, like it's not the safest alternative. It's like I talk about marijuana. They turn you into a villain for choosing the safest alternative drug. You know, marijuana is safer than fucking aspirin. Right? So, and then they turn you into a criminal for using your big brain and making the safest choice. you know, and they're doing it with the kids. They're like, you know, okay, you know, the kids, they don't want to smoke cigarettes, but you know, it's this rite of passage thing, man. This is, I mean, I never smoked cigarettes in high school. I don't want to say never. I think I smoked 2 or 3 cigarettes in high school, something like that. You know, it always involved getting laid. It always involved girls. So, and that's the only reason I ever smoked. I smoked for a little time. I smoked cigarettes for a little teeny amount of time when I was living in Maui. But that's because we were hanging out in the bars, and it wasn't so much that I was smoking cigarettes, is that I would have a pack of cigarettes sitting on the bar with a lighter next to me. And hot Maui chicks would come up and be like, "Hey, can I bum a smoke off you?" Like, sure. What's your name? You know, it was, again, it's always about the girls. Always about the girls, man. So I will play the vaping video for you now. And it bothers me because there's these profiteers. There's always this profiteering element in these issues. You know, when they're like with the marijuana, you always see these people who step up and preach the evils of marijuana, and you know that they're doing that just because they're suckers that are looking for someone to preach that element, and they buy their books and they take their classes and, you know, whatever online. So that's what really bothered me about this clip. That's why I wanted to play it for you, so you know.
In HealthWorks, school districts taking new steps to fight back against the vaping crisis and to protect their students.
The CDC says the vast majority of people who've gotten sick from vaping are young people. And now some schools are turning to in-school intervention to help the kids. ABC's Gio Benitez shows us how.
How are you feeling about what's happening?
You're looking at an in-school intervention session for students struggling with vaping. Southampton High School in New York tackling the vaping crisis head on.
It's an epidemic, it's a crisis, it's a disaster all rolled into one. There is a battle against heavy nicotine addiction by our young people, and we are struggling to address it.
Therapy sessions like this one conducted by in-school addiction specialists.
Because the vape epidemic became so intense at the school.
We learned very, very quickly that this was not a social trend. Actually, this was becoming a real bad health crisis.
When I first vaped was actually my freshman year of being in high school.
The intensive program called Teen Intervene. These 2 students who say they became addicted and the high school have asked us not to show their faces.
The thing that they always said, it was like, it's not going to do anything to you. It's not going to like harm you.
This student says his addiction began far earlier than people realize, in the 6th grade.
It's just an epidemic that really started out in the middle school, and it started off with the older kids out in the 8th grade doing it.
He believes the flavors and even the design of vaping devices helped him get hooked.
They're just so easy to bring with you, and having like no need to light it. You just use it anytime you need to.
Madam Chairwoman DeLauro and attending legislature.
Administrators at this school now taking their fight a step further to the state attorney general and to Washington for funding to pay for these programs. And this group of student leaders have testified to the extent of the problem at anti-vaping town halls. Officials say several dozen students have completed the program with some early signs of progress. One of the students says he hasn't vaped in more than 6 months, but still worries about younger children and their future.
The hardest part about my journey in vaping is just accepting the fact that I am addicted, because no one wants to really be known as the addicted.
Juul claims it does not market to kids, and the company is developing some new technology trying to reduce use among young people.
However, health experts say people under the age of 18 should not use any products with nicotine.
Yeah, you see those girls, all those girls with the sad t-shirts. I'm sad. I'm sad. They're all sitting there with big frowns on their face, wearing a sad t-shirt. Yeah. And then there's this dickhead doctor guy. He's probably the one selling the sad t-shirts. Dare to keep kids off drugs. again, this is just a normal rite of passage. Okay, smoking weed, smoking cigarettes. You know, this is what we all go through. You know, and hopefully you have some adult guidance. You know, you don't want to. I mean, you don't want to be smoking cigarettes. Smoking cigarettes is bad, and smoking vapes is it appears to be very addictive. That would be my main concern. One of the worst things I ever heard the leadership at Juul. Juul is this device that they're blaming for the epidemic in high schools. Is everywhere in the high schools. I guess it's a type of vape device. They make juices and they make the vape itself. And the Juul said, what I heard them say, what I saw in writing that they said was that we never intended to sell people who weren't using nicotine. Right? And for me, that's the worst part of it. The nicotine is what's really dangerous. The nicotine is what makes it terribly, terribly addictive. The nicotine is what makes you puff it, 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 puff it. You know, that's the really bad part. And Juul is like, oh, well, we never intended to sell products to non-nicotine users, right? They should have a Juul that has 0 nicotine in it. And then you can have your flavor. You can have your lovely cotton candy flavor. You can do your cool, look how cool I am, smoking. I'm so cool. The cool people smoke. And you don't have the addiction issue. I mean, there's going to be a little addiction issue. Like if you were sucking lollipops all day long, you'd be addicted to sucking lollipops, you know. Sucking this all day long, you're going to be kind of addicted to it. But it's not going to be like with the nicotine. So to me, Juul is part of the problem because they don't understand that they should want to sell non-nicotine pods for these devices so that people can actually back their nicotine down. You start with the high nicotine if you're a smoker, and then you back it down to little less, a little less, a little less, and then no nicotine. And then it's easy to fucking quit that device too. Not necessarily easy, but it's going to be much easier than with the nicotine. So, and that's the real problem. I mean, it's not that I want to see nicotine banned or anything, because bans just don't work. You know, look how well the drug war worked. Anyone who wants heroin can have heroin. So it doesn't work, but it bothers me that they're doing this thing with the flavors. You know, they act like it's about flavor is the spice of life. Flavor is what makes us go to restaurants. You know, because they're all the different. Go to different restaurants. All these different restaurants. You know, we love flavor, and now we can't have flavor because of children. Fuck you. Okay, what next? We're not going to be able to have pizza because pizza tastes too good and it's addictive now? Fuck you. Okay? It's the nicotine that's addictive, not the flavors. You know? So got to recognize the real enemy here. And I would have to say it clearly is the people that act like, you know, we should be getting you addicted to nicotine. Hello, caller.
Yo, what up, Michael? This is Steve McClanahan.
Hey, Steve.
I'm getting adapted to the fucking the slang here, Michael.
I
feel like
you're assimilating. You're assimilating.
Yes, that's exactly what I'm doing. All right, hear me out. Hear me out on this, okay? You know what I'm saying? All right, if you fuck with me, I will put you on the news. How did that sound? That sound pretty good? I think that sounded good because these motherfuckers are scared. They're definitely scared. And I got a couple of names. I'm going to put their names out here on the news right now. Fucking Andrea, fucking Patrick, some fucking guy named Iowa, some motherfucking named Doppelcooper, fucking some other guy named fucking Brett, or fucking John, some other guy named fucking John. Okay, John. And fucking, telling you, Patrick and fucking Wilco, you motherfuckers, you better, y'all motherfuckers, hey, you see that I'm over here on the line right now, I'm putting you on the news right now, okay? Back up. Alright, see, this is what I have to deal with in here. These motherfuckers need to fucking, I had to set them straight, okay? Shout out to my girl Jackie Cat and shit, you know what I'm saying, up in here in the joint right now. You know, my other girl, Michelle, you know, shout out to Michelle, motherfucking shout out to Chris, and the fucking landlord. I tell you what, the fucking landlord, I tell you what, that motherfucker, he's in here, he's one of the guys that's just like, kind of like keeping it cool. He's like, all right, I'm going to keep it together, and I'm trying to get to my court day too, you know. Listen, I'm doing a fucking interview, okay? I will put all of you on the fucking news right now. I have other people on here, right here, on this paper. Okay, I will fucking put all of you on the news. You better chill out. Yeah, this is real. This is a real motherfucking deal. Okay, this is Steve McClanahan, motherfucking reporting live from jail. Nobody's doing this. The guards don't give a fuck. The goddamn Kansas City Chiefs are going to the fucking Super Bowl. You guys are all on dope anyway. Nobody cares. I have to do the fucking real news. Shut the fuck up. Okay? Go to your fucking cell.
Okay, Steve.
Michael, I'm back.
Okay.
I'm back. Hey.
Okay.
Shout out to the Fifth Element. We're doing it. We're doing it live. We're doing it. Whether you like it or not.
Okay, Steve.
Shout out to the anonymous caller, whoever the fuck that guy is, fucking shooting his load into the fucking camera every single night, because that's all that he can do. Poor guy, poor little shit, fucker. Got his bike stolen and shit. Got his ass beat way too many times for fucking defecating in the middle of the fucking street, Michael. He's lucky he did not get hit by a car. Because that would be fucking, that would be a, well, you know, I think that might be a pretty good news clip. Just saying. Hey.
Okay, Steve.
We're biased, it's unfair. Okay?
Okay, Steve.
Okay, Michael.
All right, well, you stay cool. We'll talk to you soon.
Michael, I'm in jail. I'm running the show here in fucking jail right now. I gotta get off the line here.
Okay, okay, Steve.
Go.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay, bye.
All right. Okay.
Steve McClanahan, still in the Kansas City jail, apparently. Okay, so I'm out of clips. I don't want to talk to Steve again. So.
Press 1 to take this call.
Hello, caller.
Hey, Mike, how you doing?
I am good. How are you?
I am super curious. I was just asking in the chat. I don't know if anybody answered me yet. You know, there were those stories about, oh, people are vaping and they're getting sick and dying and they're all in the hospital and maybe it's nicotine and maybe it's weed and nobody really knows. What happened to all those stories, Mike? Did they just disappear?
No, I still see them. They're saying it's mostly young people that are dying. And that they're using, and it's mostly because they're using a black market cannabis products. That's what they're saying, anyways. So I you know, it's a stupid story. I think that it's basically it's a reefer madness story. You know, the fear. You know, this is gonna kill you. I can't believe this shit works anymore.
No, it always seemed very suspicious to me that, you know, I feel terrible if anybody really did get hurt from that, but people will do some dumb things, you know.
Well, you know, puffing.
I could see if maybe if you really were puffing on that thing all day long.
Yeah. Well,
I know I've used vapes, and I could say that, you know, it definitely would give me a sore throat the next day if I overdid it, or
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, no,
maybe.
I think that's I think that there are people out there that probably the vapes affect very negatively, but if you're bringing this liquid vapor into your lungs I mean, a lot of the people, they don't even set those things down. You know, they just puff them, and they're the biggest clouds they can possibly blow after another. They're the biggest cloud they can possibly blow after another. You know, and that just is not that is just not a good plan for anyone, regardless of what it is you're smoking. I wouldn't even advise people smoke cannabis in that way. You know.
Mm-hmm. I hear you. I just wondered. I figured you would know, because you watch these things.
I do.
I know you do.
I kind of wish I could stop, but I'm waiting. There's something big is about to happen, and I don't want to be out of position when it does happen. So I have to stay in position and keep paying attention.
Something big? I hope it's growing in your garden.
Yeah, I hope something big is growing in my garden very soon too.
That would be awesome.
Yeah. But yeah, no, I that will be happening very, very soon. So, you know, I promise we'll get that going here real quick. I have to get it going. I'm running out of weed, man. I'm down to like a half a pound or something.
Can't have that, Mike. Can't have that.
What?
You can't have that.
Can't run out of weed. Can't get less than a half pound.
No, I try to avoid that at all costs.
Yeah.
Also, I wanted to tell you, yeah, I don't really believe all the polls. I mean, and even if you did, they're all over the map.
Yeah.
But it sure looks to me like Bernie is in the lead. Once in a while, you see Biden in the lead, but I think he's the man to beat right now.
I think.
And I'm Yang, so it's not wishful thinking. I think it's just the way it looks right now.
Yeah, with the donations and everything, he seems to be out, funding everybody, and you know that they're doing their best. A lot of the people that are taking the polls are skewing them any way they can, but the Democrats hate Bernie and the Republicans hate Bernie. So the media is going to do their best to try and paint him like a crazy old man who whatever it is Hillary Clinton said he is, you know.
Yeah, there's a lot of hate out there.
Well, for
Bernie right now.
It's not.
And I think you're right that people are scared.
It's not just hate for Bernie. It's that they have zero respect for the voters. That's the bad part. The voters should be able to go out there and make up their own mind without all this fucking cheating and negative influence that the Democrats and the Republicans don't hesitate to do, and the mainstream media for that matter. I mean, they just shouldn't be, it should be straightforward. Listen to if you really want to win the election, you have to listen to what the people think and believe, not try and manipulate them into believing somehow Joe Biden is the best possible candidate. That is fucking idiotic. The people know better than that.
Yeah, I know a lot of people that think that, and I try to be respectful.
Really? Wow. You know a lot of people. Wow, I cannot believe that.
Well, I'm in Florida, and with the community I'm in, there's a lot of older people. So
that's so crazy.
That sort of would explain it. But Trump is really big here too. A lot of stock market folks.
Yeah, well, it's understandable why Trump is big. I mean, people, Trump is an entertainer. He's got the stock market going, or somebody got the stock market going for him, and it's understandable, especially with the Democrats acting like the best they can put forward is Joe Biden. It's understandable why people would kind of lean towards Trump again, and why he got elected in the first place. Hillary Clinton, but I really see Bernie as having a true chance to actually defeat Donald Trump, and we have to start headed towards peace, man. I can't stand this war anymore, you know? The war is so bad.
It is. I hope you're right about Bernie having a good chance against Trump. I know he would have beat him in 2016.
Yeah.
I'm sure he would have.
Yeah. I think so too. I mean, Mike, I have a video on this YouTube page that has like 2 million views or something of Michael Moore saying if the Democrats had listened to the voters and nominated Bernie Sanders, he would be president right now.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think so. Well, I really like the idea of Tulsi running with Bernie. I think if he is the nominee and he takes Tulsi on, I think it would help a lot.
Yeah, I think that she'll pull a lot of Trump voters, honestly. I know a lot of Trump voters are looking at Tulsi really hard. But that's because she says these anti-war things that no one else is saying, you know. And she fucking taking on Hillary. Like I said, Tulsi's really quickly approaching American folk hero status, I think.
Oh, I totally agree. Yeah. And I also love that she is talking about decriminalization. Well, no, legalization of all drugs.
Yeah,
I think that's
right.
Brilliant.
Yeah, get this fucking... I mean, how long are we going to act like the drug war is something good for us, you know? It clearly is. And if we get rid of the drug war, then maybe we can get rid of this evil DEA that has brought us the opioid epidemic and, you know, and actually start towards a path of freedom or something, you know? Be real.
That would be so awesome.
I just see that those two as being like this hope that I didn't think existed. Really, but if it's so good to see Bernie like starting to surge ahead of the rest. It makes me feel like there's still a chance. There's still hope. Fucking hope. I fucking hate hope.
Well, you know, yeah, slogan. But you know, I watched some interesting Nerds for Yang podcasts where they talk about all the polls and the latest Google searches and stuff like that, and yeah, Bernie is looking really strong.
I think so. I think he's surging in a big way. I think he's surging in a big way, and that as soon as we can get a couple of these fucking idiot Democrats out of the way, like Elizabeth Warren and Amy Klobuchar, not that I'm negative on females, and Joe Biden, and you know, just these people who, you know, Tom Sire adds nothing to the race except for billions of dollars in advertising or whatever, you know. It just
that was so crazy. There was a new poll out today, and I think Steyer was at like 1%. Yeah. I thought, what happened to his 10% or whatever it was?
Right.
So, you know, these things are pretty crazy. I got one poll on my landline. I actually am dinosaur enough to have a landline, and Steyer was never mentioned. Yang was, I think, only mentioned once. All the questions were really about the mainstream candidates.
Yeah.
So I just answered undecided for most things.
Yeah, the polls are so skewed. I mean, it really is a matter of we want this outcome from the poll, and so this is how you get this outcome, and that's the reason that there's these giant professional polling companies, because they can get the outcomes that these people want, no problem. So the polls are just not to be trusted at all.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
All right, sweetie. I just wanted to call and say hey.
Yeah, it's really good to hear from you. I love hearing your sweet voice.
Nice to talk to you, honey. We'll have to get, you know, I'll send you a link. Maybe one time I'll call and we'll talk about what the mushrooms told me.
Right on. That would be awesome.
I even have a video.
Okay. Awesome. I would love that.
Yeah, that would be cool. All right, sweetie. Have a good night.
Okay, we'll talk soon. Oh, bye.
Bye-bye.
Okay. I'm all out of clips. I came here to play clips and kick ass, and I am all out of motherfucking clips. So, And I'm getting hungry. But I'm a stoner. I'm always hungry. So I'm going to have a bong hit. And if anybody calls, I'll take a call. Otherwise, I'm going to have a bong hit, and that's it for the night. We're done. I'm out of here. Hopefully Steve McClanahan won't call. So sad. He's such a... Steve, you're always so sad, man. Such horrible shit is happening to you all the time. Just never-ending fucking soap opera, man. This is why I don't have a girlfriend. This fucking soap opera just never stops. I'm definitely getting hungry anyways. Stoner. Stoner, give me pizza or give me death. Boober, you like pizza? A what? A pizza? That does sound pretty good. Alright, so, Craig has made up these lovely Mox News t-shirts. If anybody wants an embroidered, long sleeve, super soft cotton t-shirt, contact Craig in the chat, or you can hit him up and send him an email to mike@moxnews, and he will get you hooked up on a t-shirt, okay? And you get Mike Hawk for President postcard with the t-shirt, and you get Mox News business card with the t-shirt, and you get, oh, I can't see that one, and you get Mike Hawk suckers. So if you want some Mike Hawk suckers, hello, caller.
Yo, what up, Michael? This is Steve McClanahan. We just got a little bit of Wi-Fi connection. We just seen the new shirts in here. We just seen the new shirts up in here in the jail. Them motherfuckers is off the hook. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting them for all of my Mox News motherfucking ninjas. That's what I'm doing, Michael, up here in the motherfucking jail. I keep my word up in here. Okay, I keep my word up here in the jail. Okay, motherfuckers is chilling out right now. This little motherfucker named Iowa and shit, he's chilling out. He can't afford a shirt. It's okay, bro. Wilco, poor little guy up in here. He's been through the struggle and shit. He knows a lot. You know what I'm saying? He wants a shirt. He wants a shirt. Okay?
Good.
Fuck. You know, Andre Patrick and the Doppel Cooper and the Doppel fucking gang and shit, you know, them homies and stuff. They want a fucking shirt, you know what I'm saying? None of them can afford it, though, you know, but it's cool. It's completely cool, you know? We're going to get one to them somehow, some way. We're going to get one for all their dedication, you know, when they get out the joint and stuff. But my phone might not be on at that time. You know what I'm saying? It's hard up in here in the fucking joint, okay? Jackie Cat, my girl, she already has the shirt. She is just always looking good and shit. You know what I'm saying? She should probably be the model, you know what I'm saying? Maybe Michelle, I don't know. Them is my girls and stuff, you know. They're crying right now that I'm in jail, Michael. It's okay. I'm gonna put a shirt on the fucking Fifth Element DVD. I'm a fucking, and you know.
Okay,
Steve. They're gonna fucking love it. You know what I'm saying?
Okay,
Michael?
okay. I think so. I think I know what you're saying, Steve.
You know, you gotta be.
I hear you.
I'm doing things big. I'm doing things big up here in the jail right now.
Well,
for all my homies and all the Mox News ninjas. Michael.
Well, keep up the good work, Steve.
You got a problem, Michael?
I am not one of your homies in jail, Steve. Don't be talking to me like that.
Okay. Oh, okay. I'm sorry, Michael. All right. Okay. Hey, I'll let you go. Hey, you have a great night, Michael.
Okay, it's good to hear from you, Steve. Thanks for calling. Steve McClennan calling from Kansas City Jail, apparently. That was a good bong hit. Okay, so I am good. We have all the clips that we did tonight. We did them well. And I am going to go and look at... Is that a tiger? Ah! Wait, is that a tiger? No, there's no tiger. What are you talking about? Alright, so I am going to go get some food and watch a little news. Make sure that there's no, like, smoldering buildings on TV or something. I'm not gonna pay attention to no impeachment news. It just doesn't seem worthy. God, that's a good looking woman. Okay, so thanks everybody for tuning in. It makes a huge difference when you're here. Okay, if you guys weren't here, I wouldn't be able to keep doing this because it would just be meaningless. It is meaningless without you, and I would have stopped already if it hadn't been for you beautiful people showing up again and again. So thank you very much for that. Mox News survives solely on contributions from good people like yourself. So if you'd like to encourage me to keep doing the nightly shows, if you want to help Mox News stay strong, make sure that we're here for a long time to come, it's easy to do at moxnews.com. It's easy to make a donation, or there are clickable links in the description box of this video. Should take about 2 minutes to give something back, and it makes a huge difference in my world. I promise I would not ask for help if I did not need it. I would not ask for it, and every little bit helps. So I really, really appreciate all you guys very, very much. Okay, so we'll see you again tomorrow. We're doing this every day, Monday through Friday at 7 p.m. Pacific. Okay, so please be sure and show up tomorrow. Same Mox time, same Mox channel, and who knows what will happen then, right? I hope we see you there. Stay cool till then.
No matter which mouth you feed on a two-headed snake, it still shits the same turd. But lucky for you, you have Mox News. More than 10 years. More than 60,000 videos. Mox News has been filtering the nonsense and illuminating the bullshit from your mainstream media. Turn off your TV and turn on to Mox News. For over a decade, documenting the socio-political events that have etched and carved the pathways that define today's modern mess, Mox News has been providing clarity while faithfully bringing you today's relevant stories 100% commercial-free and subscription-free. And just like Lady Liberty vows to remain free. But at this time, we're asking you for your help, your patronage, and your support to keep the lights on and the videos rolling. For less than 17 cents per day, you can become a basic subscriber, knowing that your donation is truly making a difference that will help continue bringing the news stories that make a difference in your life. Turn on, tune in, and drop a couple dimes today by clicking the link below or visiting moxnews.com and show your support at any level. From a single one-time donation or dedicated monthly subscriber, do it now in less than 2 minutes. All donations are safe, securely processed, and verified using PayPal, Visa, MasterCard, American Express, or Discover Card. As always, we're sure you'll find something of interest each and every day. This holiday season, give the gift of Mox. MoxNews.com.